don't see. I wish I could hear if he's talking to me. 'Cause if I could meet him, the big man upstairs, well, I'd ask him if Grandpa still rocks in his chair. I've met hell-raising angels, devils and saints, addicts on sidewalks who give more than take, poison-filled pastors who lie through their teeth, but scold me for asking why I should believe. They say in the good book he looks just like me. Is he tattooed and tired and can't find his peace? Does he drown out his sorrows with whiskey, cocaine, or 4 a.m. panic and praying for change? Could I believe in...
Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? Back with another watch list. Yo, yo. Okay. So I think we'll be a busy stream here. So given the recommendation from yesterday to go over some top ops from 2024, as well as some of my worst trades from 2024. Very minimal action on my end again today, but looks like a few more opportunities presenting themselves for tomorrow. And then I will run through scan. I haven't quite finished running through my list, but we will get there. So, let's start off with the trade from today, I guess. CHRO planned from the watch list yesterday. Daily starting to extend, looking for pops into prior day's resistance. We got a gap down, put a starter on there right before market open. Let it push. Once it failed, reshorted or added and moved risk down to red to green and covered the flush. But on this flush, the spread went to about 15 cents on a 20-cent name. Is not somewhere I like to be, so I covered the rest flat. It ended up going a bit lower, but it's just not a very good opportunity given how it's trading and the volume it was trading today. So decided to leave that one alone. SPY, quite the gap there today. That held its gains fairly well considering how far it was up from previous day's close. So keep in mind when you're trading large caps and stuff, everything has been hitting highs, but you do have the tailwind with SPY behind it, so keep that in mind. It's due for a pullback. If it pulls back, has a red day, something like this, that's not out of the norm, that's healthy. Netflix, monster gap there today. Earnings, positive reaction to it on the gap. After hours, sold off, but still up 10% there today. So plenty of action there in large caps. VRME from this quiet fader idea, I am no longer there, but nice quiet fade now for 3 days. Steady lows, steady lows, steady lows. So on a green move or a weak open red to green, we're now into this breakout level. Multi-day route on the front side. Nice clean pullback, possible mean revert back up for a 50 to 80 cent trade. If we zoom in here on the intradaily, we've got prior resistance possibly becoming support and look to get a retest up here in the low threes. So we'll be watching weak opens there for a possible backside bounce. MVST tested 190s but didn't break it. Was just a flush off the open, held. Didn't do much there. OPTT, I like these pops now. They had PR that got slammed. And pops here into the low ones continue to get rejected. You can see the top wicks here on the daily. If this trend does start to roll over, definitely could see lower prices. But I will be looking at this for a possible swing. Just kind of set a stop there in the low ones and look for a quiet rollover. the same setup as CDIO, basically at the same price, where you get this big multi-day move, pullback, rounding action, and would be looking for something like this on OPTT. Exact same price, exact same setup, should look familiar. The reason I had CDIO on watch was the gap. Last night I was looking for a shove back up into the ones, up into here, and I tested the 90s super early pre-market and just never saw higher, so took that one off radar. Clue, this thing is wild, absolutely insane. A bunch of wash volume. If we take off today's candle, you can see them just churning shares back and forth, tossing hands. And then today they finally opened the gates. And this is the kind of stuff that had gotten me in trouble in the past with stuff like Chasen, CHSN, these China scams where they've just got complete control of the float. And this is what happened on Chasen, was we got a slam down like this, and it immediately halted up, but Chasen went halt to halt to halt. So I was short Chasen into something like this, and it swiped me right back. I was a deer in headlights, didn't react, didn't cover, and unlike this one that gave you plenty of time to cover, even here for a super small loss if you were in there, but Chasen was gap to gap to gap and was immediately down $10 a share in the snap of a finger. So this one is an avoid for me for now. We'll see how this one starts to set up, but just crazy, crazy action. Note, this one, multi-day breakout through the 150s. So we'll watch week opens into these 150s. Not a whole lot of range on this name, so we'll see what the volume looks like, but keeping that one on watch. Then BLBX, day one runner, gapper that didn't fail and held its gains fairly well. So some percent gainers there from today. Let me check out Scan, MBOT. Nice shove back into prior resistance. That's gorgeous. Look at that. Prior support all through here. Big volume profile level there. Looking left. Lines up 240s. You get a shove right up into 240. And then here would be your failed fall through level 220s that tested, and nice fizzle. See what else we got here on Scan. I'll just finish up the watch list portion before going into the trade review. For those that stick around later in, I think it will be value add. SEMR, there's a little red day. Wild move. VRME hitting Scan. ASST, that thing hasn't gone away. Wow. You know shorts are trapped there. Look at that. Failed morning spike, fades near the lows. Every name has been fading and gapping down since day one. So this one I will keep on watch because shorts are definitely trapped. There is some overhead resistance, but definitely worth a watch. ones aren't super packed. There's not a ton of results, so we're doing good. That note chart does look good. It just doesn't really move a whole lot. SDGR. What's this? It's definitely big move versus prior price action, but not a big move percentage-wise. Whole thing happened right off the open. Yeah, I definitely need to see that one higher. The oil and gas basket, USEG offering, HOT, no, what was the other one? What was it? What was the other oil and gas name? Let me look. What the heck? Husa. What was the other H name? Jeez. Killing me. Husa offering, USEG offering. So that kind of ruined that sector move there. That deflated very quickly. For any of you OTC short traders, excuse me, BDCC got smoked today. If you've got OTC charts, you can check that one out. Excuse me. Okay. That's it for that one. Juan David, ARM day 3 from SoftBank's news gap tomorrow would be nice. It is holding up pretty well. Starting to speed up. Yeah, if that put in another day, I'd start to put that one on watch. It's not quite extended enough for me because I'd kind of gauge it through this 160 breakout level. So I'd want to see it blow out through prior highs. Maybe get that 198 to 202. Some sort of 200 exhaust would be more of interest to me. FlashNet, saw you on Investors Underground video last Friday. Oh yeah, we did the Friday chill sesh. That's right. I did hop on. Saw Kyle Williams posted a picture of all of you traders over the weekend. Keep up the good work. Yeah, that was a phenomenal weekend. There was a big group of us. I think there was 11, 12 of us. We went up to Whistler Mountain, Whistler Blackcomb, rented out a big house, 10,000 square foot house, and we all stayed in there. It was pretty sick. Um, went up to the mountain. I personally I couldn't ski. I've got really bad knees, unfortunately, at my age. Um, but I went up to the mountain and I went tubing down, while the rest of them went skiing down. But we still hung out, had a couple party nights, a couple fancy dinners, and all in all, just grew the friendship, grew the relationships with one another, had some good conversations, and yeah, I love those guys. They're solid dudes, and Kyle's fiance, Chris's wife, and Connor's girlfriend came. So there's a few ladies in the group as well, which isn't always the case at trader events. But yeah, it was a solid weekend. It was really cool. But if that kind of stuff is cool to you, I strongly urge you. Like I don't meet those guys if I don't go to um, if I don't go to in-person boot camps, where like Clover Trading, for example, is Kyle's service. They do like one or two a year where they do in-person boot camps. Yes, you have to pay for them, but you get to know these guys on a personal level, and stuff like that doesn't happen unless you pay to play. You go out and go to these events. I met a bunch of these guys at Traders for a Cause. That happens every year, October, November, out in Vegas. Yes, it's expensive. Those tickets are $900, $1,000 US, and then you still got to pay airfare, accommodations, all that stuff. But the relationships that you gain are worth a lot more than the dollar value, the price tag put on those events. So I can't urge you enough. Like I say, I'm gonna mention one in the next few days here once they get the details settled. But there's another regional event over on the East Coast. I said yesterday I don't get to the East Coast often, but I will be going to this one. It will be next month in February, but details are still getting hammered down. But when I get them, I'll share them, and I strongly urge people to go out, get out of your comfort zone, and do stuff like that, because trips and friendships like that come from it, and it's super cool. But enough of that rant. I see, cool man. I was just thinking about going to the Clover Boot Camp in Los Angeles in March. Thanks for the info. I hear you. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Man, RGTI got saved. Jeez. Sam, events are the goal, but first I'm getting over PDT. I'll be there one day, and I'll buy you one of those Vito Pro packs to say thanks for all the scans. There we go, there we go. Yeah, all the best to you. It's a tough journey, but I wish you nothing but the best. What is this? This one's just a Big first green day. Looking like a recent IPO type. Like it's a fresh chart. Hasn't traded volume, so no real history here. You got AI, Scantech AI systems. You got AI in the name. How is stuff like Soon, Serve, BBAI, GXAI? BBAI might be worth a watch. That thing's... Wow. This thing's holding up really good. You see, like, each time it's ran, has like a couple legs, and then once it blows out, it fades right back to nothing. And then you do the same thing here. Once you get one leg, two leg, fades back to nothing. And what we've had here is now we've had the one leg, two leg, and this one did not pull back. It pulled back, but it hasn't faded back to nothing. So this one I think is probably worth keeping on watch too, with that AI basket. Through these 470, 480 line, it's holding up really well. Big Bear AI, Scantech AI. What's AI itself doing? Meh. Definitely gonna keep Clue on watch. This one, I don't know if you will remember like prior scans. Pretty sure I traded it here. So it's got a history of big dump days, dilution. When it ends sub 1 at like 50 cents. So I think worth keeping it on watch. But ideally goes much higher. If it can do something like Chasen where it just goes wild. Nate had mentioned that it looked like iLag and Top in the past, if you recall. Must have been this day. No. It held at 420, but it's probably split since. Top, something like this. Maybe we're here. Maybe blows out like crazy, gets cleaner backside. But we'll see. Oklo, that thing is getting going. It's so tough to hold stuff like this, right? You get this super clean lower high trend break, strong daily candle, breakout, gets slammed, comes all the way back down before heading higher. Like it's just the range in which these things are trending is so tough to hold. Oracle. Hey Dawson, is Veto something for a liquidity trap play tomorrow, or what do you think? Still learning about lick traps. VATE. Got it. Big day 1 volume. Day 2 dries up. Let's look left. No real comparable volume. You got this week open. Holds prior day's VWAP. Prior resistance becomes support. At face value, technical wise, I would agree. This does look like liquidity trap. Shorts are underwater here from day 1. Most of the volume here was traded 850 and below. That's exactly where today's low a day was. So I think key line is 850, and then prior highs, which was what, 1095. So I would look to join this 1090s break. Otherwise, weak opens would have to be using like this 850 as a risk, which is a bit too wide for weak opens. So I'd probably look for strength through that 11 whole dollar. But I don't hate that idea. I'll throw that one on watch. Fits the bill. Let's see why it's up today. No news. Prior news. Let's see. Yesterday put out an 8K. Press release announcing that the US FDA has approved the MediBeacon transdermal GFR for the assessment of kidney functions in patients with normal and impaired renal function. Copy of the press release is attached. The information contained in the current report. Okay. FDA approval of some thing. No idea what the PR means, but they've got news backing it. Good enough. Let's see what their cash position is looking like. How about loses about 10 mil a quarter. They've got just under 40 mil in cash. So about a year. About a year of cash. A bunch of their convertibles aren't registered, which is nice. Not a whole lot of red flags. 13 mil outstanding. So thin enough. Yeah, I like it. Keep it on watch. Good looks, Juan. Good looks. TNXP is up. I'd need this a lot closer to 70, but that would be the exact same setup as MBOT, where you just wait patient, wait for that 240 shove, get a nice pullback. If I can sit patient enough, and this thing can go from 30 cents up to 70 cents, I'd be a hell of a lot more interested than down here. At 60s, 70 range. I need to see a double from here. Worth a watch. Alrighty, so walk with your head held tall at those events. Well, the cool thing about these events, well, one of the cool things is almost nobody talks P&L. So even if you're a losing trader, if you're under PDT, no one's got. Well, there's There's a couple guys that got a bit of an ego, but for the most part, no one's got an ego. We're all kind of playing the same game, trying to help each other grow. So, do you like the idea of Aeon for a lick trap bounce similar to Erna? Today I tried, but was too early. I don't even recognize those tickers, so they're probably a liquid. That one didn't really run. Got huge resistance up here. So if you look left, you had this big volume day, closing VWAP right there at 70 cents. And you can see right where it ran into was into 70 cents before failing. AEON. Take a look. This one's just too cheap. I can't trade stuff this cheap. It just burns commissions. Yeah, no real plan there either. Just not interested. It's at all-time lows. Price is a bit cheap. It's not... Volume's coming in and price isn't moving, so there's no action there to trade. Okay, I've got my spreadsheet up over here on this screen. So I will sort by best trades. First one that comes up, biggest trade of 2024, May 2nd, JAG-X. On May 2nd. Right there, breakout. So this one was 20 cents over here. So I don't know what the split ratio is, but this was a 20 cent name, 25 cent name. So we had this big push, pull back and consolidate, a re-breakout, and then this ABCD setup. So I start buying right through here. The entry, I was risking 4 cents to make 20 cents. Oh, excuse me. But this big picture chart pattern is what I look for. Breakouts that break out of prior ranges and start to consolidate over resistance. They consolidate near their highs. And this breakout level also had a fundamental thesis. I did a whole video on this one, actually, reviewing this exact trade. I will post the link in the chat right here. Oh, come on, stupid ad. I don't even get paid for those ads. What the hell? Why are there ads in my videos? They don't pay me for them. Copy and paste. There we go. That video should work. That's the total breakdown of this exact trade, the JAG-X trade review. So I had done a video on it, so you can see all the executions and everything from that day. But I go into detail. There's a fundamental thesis behind that. There was a technical thesis, and when it all aligned, when I can get fundamentals and technicals aligning, that's typically when my biggest trades come. So that was definitely a top op of 24 for me. Second biggest one, FMCC, Freddie Mac. Stock charts. Let's see, this one's an OTC. So Bookmarked, no problem, no problem. Yeah, it's not even that long of a video. I think it's 10 minutes for exactly what I look for, what my top op of 2024 was. I think 10 minutes is pretty good. I remember when that stock JX was in play. We'll check that video. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. So Freddie Mac was on March 22nd, which was right back here. So let me let me see here, trying to get this chart sorted. Stock charts, there we go. Move this one over here. So the day we're looking at is right over here. I used RSI in this instance. So we can go RSI 14. You can see right here where it starts to pick up. Same thing it's done here before it pulled back. Same thing it did here before it pulled back. So on clean names like this, I like to, whoa, glitched. There we go. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Straight up move, hadn't gone red, volume's going parabolic. RSI is peaking out right up there in the 90 range. So I'm playing this first red day, overextension, first time it's going red, and catch a nice pullback there. I might have the trade on it. Let me see. FMCC, yep. I can. This was back, I still had, there we go. Make that a bit bigger. I still had interactive brokers at the time. Where the heck did my chart just go? I just shared it. Now I can't find it on my screen. There it is. Okay. So this was exactly what I wanted. Let me just make this bigger, and then I will shrink it on this screen. Get my face out of the way. There we go. Good enough. So what I was doing here was reacting to the opening drive, and then I was scaling all pops. This dotted line is prior close. So I was scaling all pops as long as this thing wasn't going red, and just hammering weakness as much as I could get. And then you can see the speed up in volume as price continues to capitulate. So range-wise, pullback from 170 to 145 isn't huge. But with OTCs, you can typically get like this was a 5-cent risk off like a 165-ish average, risking off a high a day. So risking 5 cents to make 20 cents is a nice 4-to-1 trade, and super predictable, and a really good opportunity when these things present themselves. And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac they're in play still. If I pull up that chart again, you can see it's still doing the exact same thing. Multi-day run, first red day, multi-day run, first red day, multi-day run, first red day. They're still doing the same thing. You can see the RSI peaking out each time it starts to speed up. So the patterns are repeating, and they happen again and again. So that was top. And then let's just do top 3. I did trade the Fannie Mae breakout as well, right around the same time. right through here, through the $1.50 for that breakout, but this one's doing the same thing. Third OPTT on December 31st. Oh, that's cool. Last day of the year was my third best trade of the year. December 31st. Let's just go back to my and this should look familiar. December 31st, exact same setup. We've got the multi-day run, pullback, multi-day run, gap up, blowout, first red day, volume speeding up, exhaustive volume. You get the overextension, first red day, monster pullback, and a very predictable opportunity. But the exact same trade I took on Freddie Mac, the exact same trade I took on Fannie Mae. Kraken, May 17th. Right here. Overextension, first red day. Same kind of thing. This was a sympathy to FFIE. So this one had a bit more behind it than just a multi-day run. But FFIE was up there. May 17th was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one was my 8th best trade of the year. But looking like two monster trades between Kraken and FFIE, this probably would have been my biggest day of the year, or one of them, because I traded a bunch of sympathies off of this head of the snake. But it should look familiar. Same setup over and over and over. This streaming recorded. Yep. Yeah, it's all going to be on my page once I'm finished. As well as hundreds of other ones that I've done. Like that JegX video I posted. I did that one months ago. And reviewed that trade in depth. Thanks for the value. No problem. How you risk off from for first red day. They're not like a one-size-fits-all idea. I just saw this too. Like you can see, even the same trades repeat, the same tickers repeat themselves, the exact same setups. But they're not really a one-size-fits-all. Risk isn't always red to green. Sometimes, like on Cairo today, I chose to risk right around red to green. Once I had ads. Other names is a high a day risk. Other names is pops versus VWAP risk. Other names is a failed fall through level. Want to see it over under test prior support to become resistance. Sometimes it's red to green. Sometimes it's prior day highs. But it's not really a one size fits all. If you could give me some first red day examples, like the one I just went over there on Freddie Mac, I was risking high a day. An entry of 165, risking off a 170. I wasn't risking red to green there, but my trigger was red to green. That brought me into the trade the first time it went red. So that should help. And now my biggest losses of the year. Chasin, number one, when I got smoked. First China name that got away from me was Chasin. That was fun. Back in October, was shortly, not too far before Traders for a Cause. Why won't it let me go back? Come on. There we go. So, why don't I just go to the 1 minute? Let's relive it. 10/4. October 10 for 2024, 10 for 2024. This is also part of the reason why I keep multiple accounts, why I don't have like my net worth in a trading account, because risk that's out of your control happens. So right in here, we get this exact same wash volume that's happening on Clue today, where you get this big puke out, and I'm shorting pops here up into the 290s, looking to risk verse 3, and like that, bam, halt up. 290 into 3, halt up, closes, opens, halt up, and then gap up, massive halt up into 4. So at this point, it halts up, and I'm like deer in headlights, like, whoa, that just blew through my stop. Now what? So then we get the halt up into 4. I'm like, okay, let me get out on resumption. And whoa, there was no time to get out there. So I'm short here, sub 3, and this thing is gapping. So I finally put in a market cover during this halt for the whole position, thinking I don't want to blow my account. I had more borrows ready. I was not full size into this. This was a setup I've traded not maybe tens of times. I've seen this before, and I start thinking, do I want to fight this? This I have enough in the account that with the size I had, I could withstand a squeeze to 40, 50 range. Do I want to add to this and try and fight it, add to the loser, etc.? But I had that little birdie of Nate in the back of my head. One trade's not worth it. They've got like these China names are tough, etc., etc. So I was able to swallow my pride and know that I don't need to be right all the time. Money's just money kind of thing. So during this halt, I put in a market cover order. I closed my laptop. I didn't want to see that P&L, what it was going to be, being down $7-8 a share on open. It was indicating like 18 to 20 before the indication came down towards 11. So I didn't want to see it. I came back and checked it at close to see what I was down. And it was closing right a bit above where I stopped out. But I started watching it here after hours and see it start to skip up, and now there's no halts. So now shorts are tripping over each other, and this thing goes up into the 40s, which with ads, if I chose to fight this is blowout spot. That account is gone. So it was a great lesson, one, that I could come back the next day after this and was able to trade like nothing happened. So I had more emotional intelligence with myself of what I could handle, what kind of P&L swings I could handle, and helped me start to size up moving forward. Just knowing that obviously what I was risking at that time, my dollar risk, wasn't enough because I was comfortable enough coming back next day with a very outsized loss on something like this. And no one trade ever matters. It only takes one to blow that account. And this could have been that one that wiped out that account. So I was very thankful to get out here for the loss that I did get out, because being down $40 a share, even on half size, is that's a lot of money. So that was easily the biggest loss by about 10x. So all the other trades, my top, let me see. If I remove Chasen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My top 7 trades are bigger than the second biggest loss. So if I remove Chasen, my biggest loss is smaller than my top 7 trades. So it's just about avoiding these, and that bottom line becomes a hell of a lot better. Thank you, Sam. He says his video from January 13th shows first red day risk at 1908. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. SS actually 115 at 1925. My other comment was first green day. Okay. January 13th was first green day at 1908. First red day was January 15th at 1925. Perfect. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. That definitely helps me. Let's see. Why even trade these if the fat tail risk could potentially be so huge? Well, Q, that's a great hindsight thought. But like I say, I've traded these setups tens of times. On this whole China trash trade, the China scams, China pumps, I am still green on them, even after Chasen, which was 10x bigger than my second biggest loss. Even after taking a loss like that, I'm still green on the setup. So to say to just avoid them all, I think is a bit of a naive comment. It's still a profitable setup. If I set a stop, so if I'm short here 290s and say I set a stop through high a day, a hard stop, I'm getting filled right there. That's not a big loss. That's a controllable loss. It was the fact that I didn't have the stop until over highs, and I had to mark it out once it went halt to halt to halt. So I hadn't seen something like this before. All the other ones I had avoided, the ILAGs, the HKDs, the tops, all those. So I've traded them a bunch of times. It's just that, I had that deer in headlights moment, that there was a lesson that needed to be learned. And I was tested. I think it was everything happens for a reason. There was a chink in the armor that needed to be tested to see how solid my risk management really was. And I got out here. Could have gone much worse. Yes, but you can't trade these with size. I mean, yeah, I think the conversation, I think we're gonna agree to disagree. I've had some pretty great gains on these. I don't really trade the China scams much anymore. But stuff like EJH, when you nail something like this, you don't need a whole lot of size for this trade to end up a lot bigger than chasing. Like, you can make $10 a share straight down. CLEU back here. UPC, that one was one of my biggest gains back here, going straight down. So it was just one that got away. As of now, I don't really trade them a whole lot anymore because the pattern's not very clean. After chasing, they switched up their games. So I don't trade them a whole lot anymore, but I made some great P&L on them. This is scary stuff. Any tips to avoid this type of ticker? If you want to avoid this type of ticker, you're going to have to write off all China scams. Exactly what Clue was doing today. You would have gotten caught in all this stuff. That when it swipes like that, this one didn't go halt to halt, but it was definitely super thin. So if you want to avoid those types of trades, you need to avoid all these China pumps altogether. So if you have access to the China chat rooms, then you'll have to avoid that. Almost 9 o'clock, so DAS is going to shut down any second here. I'll start getting error windows. Chasing with some serious short predation stuff. Sorry you got caught in that. Seems like you got out before others did. Yes, I did. Nate voice in the back of my head. Yeah, I did mark it out. Yeah, I had to, because I did not want to see where that was going to open. I've been burned too. I try to stay away. Market cap, no micro caps. Borrows are more expensive. Even a small size, the uncertainty during the halt. Yeah, it was scary. Thanks for the knowledge. Great learning experience. Will broker max loss help for this type of halt situation? Never been in one, but just to get myself educated before it happened. Yes and no. So like a broker max stop on something like Chasin. I got rid of the chart, but you remember it. But when it's going halt to halt and it's gapping through, they don't have like a magic button to get you out when this thing's halted. So they're going to do the exact same thing as my market stop. So basically, if I couldn't, like if you know that when that happens, you're going to freeze and you're not going to be able to click that market stop button, yes, the broker level stop will prevent those blacktail risk. If you make 10K a day, maybe you want to set it at 30 to 50K on those. Oh man, there we go. Maybe you want to set it at like 3 to 5x your average day or something like that. But they will basically do the exact same thing as a market stop, and they'll just take you out when that hits. But it's not going to prevent you from getting caught in those halt to halt situations. If it's too fast for a stop to go off, then you're not going to get filled. That's just the way it is. But yes, that is a level of protection that, Nate's told me time and time again to, be careful. Could catch up to you. Like, doesn't matter how rock solid your risk management is, because it only takes one, and it could have happened. Yeah, it looks scary. Yeah, they are. They never used to be like, what was that other one? AERC, I believe it was. Symbol not found. There it is. Right over here. This is real prices. This isn't reverse split adjusted. This thing opened at $100 and went all the way down to 15 before fading down sub 10 shortly after. But this was a China pump on this day back in 2021, 2022. Is it LYT, I believe? I think this is my biggest gain of all time back in 2022. I was short this with about the size I had on Chasin, and this thing got smoked. But this one was like $80 when it started. I think $30. It was like 30 to 5, something like that. It just got wrecked. But yeah, they are scary now. They're a lot more trappy. They've got a hold of the float a lot more than they used to. So they are definitely, I don't hate the idea of avoiding them now, but saying to avoid them all in the past when they were such good opportunities, I don't agree with that. But it is what it is. We live and we learn. Spend some money to pay the market tuition. Thanks to the views. This was helpful. See setups that produced. What burned you? Not everyone would share that. Thanks to the value. Yeah, no problem. My second biggest loss was on GE, which ended up working shortly after I got stopped out. I bought this day. I think it was up on earnings. It was a very nice big picture flag breakout setup. We got a gap and hold above the breakout. So I was long. I sized into this one pretty good. I had a like 167, 168 average. This thing was ripping. I was up $10 a share. And a 167, 168 average, I'm risking like $2 and I'm up $10. It's like a 5-to-1 trade up here. I added on this week open, let it retrace, and I stopped out below prior bar lows. It went a lot lower, and then a couple of weeks later went a hell of a lot higher. But I sized in a bit much, thinking I was a know-it-all, that I knew more than the market. And yeah, that one ended up getting me pretty good. Drug was your humbling experience. That one was thin. That one was tough. I think I traded that breakout day here. I didn't touch it here. I think I traded that breakout day. That one was wild. Oh, wow. Flashnet got caught long chasing during that really long halt. That sucks. You got out break even, that's alright, but not fun anyways. See what my other loss is. KZIA, first green day. On July 16th. I was one day early. Had a little bounce, but didn't really do much. Multi-day run, pull back, respected green on the way up, respected red on the way down. Buy the first time it goes green. That's fairly straightforward. But I guess I was sized to the tits on that, I guess, because that's a above average loss for not much range on that day. I guess I was swinging for home runs there. YYAI, overextended gap up on April 16th. Okay, I can't handle this too much longer. Once it's after 9 o'clock, after midnight Eastern, DAS starts sending, gets crabby. YYAI, April 16th. Right there. Huge multi-day run. First time it's failing, going red. And it trapped into the close and got saved, bouncing before really falling apart. I think I missed this too. I took the loss here. And I think I missed that day. That one was frustrating. I remember that. Because this one, YYAI, I think used to be CXAI? Or CNXA, maybe? CNXA? Yeah, CNXA. Gosh, check that memory. But it was a ticker change. CNXA. Ticker changed on 4/12. God, this frickin' DAS. Driving me bonkers. So when I was trading it over here, this chart wasn't updated at the time. So I was trading it off of like this as the chart history. So I had CNXA on one chart trying to give me an idea of where this was in the daily picture. So it made that a bit more challenging. It made that a bit more challenging to trade because I didn't have this full thing. It had just ticker changed. So, oh well. Did you know there's a joke out there with some small cap short sellers about IU? They're the ones that make fun of other chat rooms and traders. I don't follow any of them, but someone called it wait for Nate's room to blow up first. Yeah. There's guys hating just because they've got their own issues. They we trade like there's guys in there trading every name under the sun. Like everyone's got their own style, and the guys in those rooms they lose on the names that we're trading and need to blame somebody else and make fun of somebody else. Scapegoat as to why they are losing traders, and instead of just taking responsibility for themselves. So I use a great room. Nate's a great trader. Lance is a great trader. Whoever those guys are that are talking bad about it are just greatly incorrect. Yeah, it's what you make it. Yeah, it's not an alert service. It's people sharing ideas. It's a bunch of technology spitting ideas, and everyone bouncing ideas back and forth. Um, it's not a buy here, sell here service. It's a, hey, I think this looks good. I'm seeing XYZ because of this and this and this, laying out the whole plan, and then everyone bounces ideas off of one another. It's a very active room. There's something for every style of trading in there. Um, so, yeah, in my opinion, it's the best service out there. But, to each their own. IU is literally the best room out there. I agree. IU is one legit option out there. Basically, especially if you go long and short 100. Holy smokes, we've been going for over an hour? Damn. All right, we better wrap this thing up soon. I can talk trading for so long, man. We better wrap this up. It's a marathon. Jeez. Alrighty. Well, I hope those trade reviews helped from 2024 top and worst ops. That was it was cool to look back and see. Couple watches I put at the beginning, so if an hour later, if you forget some names that I'm watching for tomorrow, you can watch the first few minutes. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get in where we fit in. Let's keep 2025 going strong. Stay safe out there. And yeah, trade them well. I'll see you guys in the room. Peace.